city. DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 Podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Let's get it. Yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city. DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 Podcast. Dre and Willsy is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's get it, baby.
He the one.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is, man. Welcome back, you guys, to the 1130 Podcast. What's good, everybody going out there? Appreciate you guys joining me back here for the podcast, man. It's Wednesday. Good morning to everybody who's listening to me this morning, and everybody who's listening on EB Radio. Yes, I'm pumped for that. And everybody who's watching on YouTube, man, stick around. This is going to be a great show. Yes, and speaking of YouTube, if you guys haven't already and you're new to the 1130 Podcast, head over to the 1130 Podcast YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe. Yes, subscribe, like it, leave a comment, man, so I can shout you out and I know you were there and all that great stuff, man. And also, you guys, don't forget to follow the 1130 Podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, man, like I said, man, it's going to be a great show. I got a cool guest, you guys, lined up in celebration, you guys, of the 100th episode of the 1130 Podcast, which is coming, you guys, this October. Yes, this October, you guys. Well, in celebration of the 100th episode, I've been taking you back over the past couple of weeks to some cool guests. You know, last week was the second throwback episode. This one, we're going to celebrate it a little bit more. We ain't going to take you back, but I got a returning guest, you guys. Yes, he was here the week before I got on EB Radio. So for everybody who's listening on EB Radio, this is going to be a really cool one this Wednesday morning. Yes, Wednesday motivational. But yes, my guy, LaQuon Johnson, you guys. He's from the Bronx, New York. He's an author. He's a disability specialist. He's a motivational speaker, a podcaster, you guys. He has a new book out, you guys. Yes, a new book called Generational Ignorance that's available right now. I had to cop it, man. I'm into it. I told my man before the show, yo, you got me back into some books, man, because I haven't read a book in a long time. So I'm in it. I'm in it. So I'm digging that. We're going to get into all of that, you guys, in the book, you guys, this week here on the podcast, man, for real. Before we do, like I said, you guys, don't forget to follow the 1130 Podcast on Instagram and follow EB Radio _ you guys, to keep up with the show and see what you think, man. But yeah, we ain't gonna waste no time, you guys. Let's get into the show. My guy, LaQuon Johnson, man, how's it going, bro?
Salute you, King. I'm doing well, Dre. You know what I mean? I'm happy to be back. You know what I mean? This platform you got going on here is just, you know, it's a movement within the community. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody Black specifically should be following this movement you got going on. So I'm happy to be here.
Hey, man, I thank you for that. I appreciate that. Them some kind words, man. And how's your day been, man? How's your day been? And I appreciate you coming back on the podcast also.
No problem, brother. I mean, it's a sunny, beautiful day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed. I'm healthy. My wife is healthy, and so are my children. So as long as that's intact, everything else is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right about that, man. How you been staying focused?
You know what? I've been focused. I just got off vacation. I just came from Dominican Republic a week ago because my birthday, my born day was a few weeks ago. So wifey took me on vacation just to clear my head because June was a trying month for Quan John, to say the least bit. But I'll tie that into what generational ignorance is all about. It was definitely a trying month. But you know what? I'm regaining focus every day.
Okay, man. That's cool. That's cool. Happy belated birthday, man. I hope you had fun.
Thank you, brother.
Man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a ball.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. I hope you staying cool too. It's hot. It's hot. I don't know what everywhere, man.
Yeah, man. Got to stay in the crib, get some of this AC till the sun go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah, you're right about that. Facts, man. Once again, LaQuon Johnson, I appreciate you joining me on the podcast here today. And like I was saying, man, you got a new book, and I'm loving it. I just copped it, man, off Amazon Kindle, man. So I'm reading it, man. I was telling you before the show, you got me into it, man, because I haven't read a book in a long time. So I'm digging this one, man, for real. But your new book, man, called Generational Ignorance. Tell me the meaning behind it and what made you write the book.
Well, the title came from my wife. Actually gave the book the title. We were actually talking about a person that we know, and we was talking about all his trials and tribulations in life. And this guy is almost 40 years old, and we aren't seeing any progression whatsoever. And so my wife, she was actually vacuuming, and she said, you know, that's generational ignorance. And I said, what did you say? She said, that's generational ignorance. What do you mean? I said, generational ignorance. I said, that's the title of my new book. You know what I'm saying? So generational ignorance is basically these curses or traumas that have been bestowed upon us as Black people that we have inherited from our predecessors that we think that are just normal and we think that are natural. You know what I'm saying? Things that we feel like we have no control over. You understand? You know how some people pass down wealth and some people pass down their power and resources and assets?
Yeah.
Many Black people, us, we are passed down ignorance. And we don't understand that. We think that we are supposed to be ignorant. We think that we are supposed to be doing bad. We think we are supposed to be poor. We think that we are not supposed to have more than the other cultures. So that's the reasoning and definition behind generational ignorance. You understand?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I dig that. I dig that. So you said, so the characters that's in the book, do you guys know them, or it was just something that you guys just, came up with?
I would say the story is based on a true story, but is written in a parable form. So yes, I know the people in the book is based on a true story. I mean, I don't know if you want me to give a background of the book and things of that nature. I can do that,
Okay, no, I was just wondering about the story because the story is very, very intriguing and stuff like that.
It's true though. True story.
Oh man, I dig it. I'm digging it. Like
Crazy.
I said,
that makes it even more mind-boggling, right? That this is true, right?
Yes, yes. So why you think that us Black people inheritance that needs to think that we needs to be ignorant or
That's a very good question. I think that's the that's the question that I'm actually trying to answer in my day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? Because remember I said that I actually had a trying month of June. A number of things happened, but the most paramount thing happened. My best friend, my brother from another mother died. Okay, this is my guy that I knew for 40 years, Dre. This is my brother. I'm an only child, Dre. So he was my brother, and he died. He died from the drug epidemic. Okay, so my brother from another mother, he actually had a cocaine issue, right? And I don't know if you're privy to this, but this thing called fentanyl is being distributed within cocaine throughout America. And if you sniff this amount of fentanyl, you die. It shuts down your organs. So that's what's going on in America. They're putting fentanyl in cocaine. And if you're buying this drug, you have no idea what you're sniffing because it's as white as the cocaine. You sniff it. If you don't get to the doctor within a matter of time, you are going to die. And this is what my friend succumbed to actually 3 weeks ago tomorrow. No, a month tomorrow. He died. I actually sat with him while he was dead for about 5 hours in the house. And it's probably one of the most traumatic things I ever did in my life. But I bring that up to say that was his generational ignorance. You understand? He felt as though that he needed this drug. I also did and dabbed in drugs. So I'm not casting any type of disrespect on my man's name. I dipped and dabbed in drugs. And when I was doing drugs, Dre, and when I was drinking every day, Dre, I think this is what the norm was. I thought if I have money to spend on it, I have to spend it. Mm-hmm. So to answer your question, what you said, why do we think that we feel like we have to be ignorant? No, I don't think it's more why. It's how do we get to this predicament where we feel like this is the norm? And I feel like that goes all the way back to slavery. You understand? There's a term called meritorious manumissions, right? Meritorious manumission says it's that a Black person is not going to be able to get to his fullest potential unless he does a number of things. He has to either 1, tell on his own Black brethren. He has to 2, protect the white man, or 3, he has to entertain the white man. You understand? So if these three things aren't incorporated into his repertoire, the powers that be, the Europeans that be, they won't allow you to overcome these hurdles and these barriers. Therefore, they're kind of making it where you have to be ignorant to either become successful or you're going to stay where you are. You understand? You know what I mean? So it's like they make ignorance a good thing. You know what I'm saying? This word ignorance has been it was introduced to us, Dre. This is not something that we created. You understand? They made being ignorant profitable. You understand? They made being an ignoramus something that is sought after by our children. You understand? You know, they made, okay, all right, and it's nothing wrong with being an entertainer. That's cool. It's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But you have to have some type of pride in your art. And if your character in integrity is being compromised, that means now you're a buffoon. Now you're a clown. If I have to compromise my character and integrity to make you more money, you understand? That means now I'm an ignoramus. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass that down to my children because that's the only thing I know how to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a habit, which is a precursor to my previous book, Habitual Habitat. See, I have 3 books, Dre. You got Motivational Motives, you got Habitual Habitat, and you got Generational Ignorance. Each one is the precursor to one another. Motivational Motives, that's on Amazon, also on audio form. That begs the question. You ask yourself, well, why do I do these things? Okay, that's the motivational motive. What's my motive? Habitual Habitat makes you think about, wow, what habits do I have that have created my success or created my failure? And Generational Ignorance is a paramount story that tells you that makes you ask, what are you doing? How did I get here? And where am I going? And where will I end up if I continue to do what I'm doing? Okay. So yeah, the word ignorant is something that has been inherited and has become profitable to the black man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a sad thing.
You're right about that. It has really come profitable to the black man, especially, you know, entertainers, like you said. And, you know, if you can get up there and shucky and jive, you know, for the white man and, you know, making money, you know, and you know, you want to, like you say, keep your integrity, keep who you are. But once you lose that, then that's all out the window, though. Right. I totally get what you're saying, though. How can us humans correct that type of generational behavior?
Well, you know, it's going to sound cliche, Dre, but it starts in the home, straight up. And it also begins with understanding that your parents were not perfect, okay? And I say that to say most of us, we do what we know, Dre. You know what I'm saying? We do what mommy and daddy taught us. But it's understanding the power you have as an adult, okay? Especially when you have your own children, you have to understand, damn, mama used to bake her cakes on Tuesday at 2:00. I want to bake my cakes on Sunday at 7:00. Just because mommy did this on this particular day or daddy fixed his car this particular way doesn't mean I have to do that. But a lot of black people, what we do is we think that if we go against the grain of what our predecessors taught us, that we're slapping them in the face by doing that. No, you're not. You're showing your power and you're showing your strength and you're showing your independence as a person. You understand? But first understand that your parents weren't perfect. And you have to actually sit down and ask yourselves, what would I have done different in my own childhood? Now, this is something that all people aren't going to be able to do. You understand? Because a lot of us have been traumatized in our childhood, Dre. A lot of us don't even want to remember our childhood, Dre. So why would we go back and ask ourselves that question? We wouldn't. But those of us that have the courage, and I want to encourage people to get mental health therapy, because that gives you the armor necessary to ask yourself these heart-wrenching questions. Ask yourself, what would I have done different in my childhood? What worked in my childhood? Okay. And after you ask yourself these questions, you know what I'm saying? Now you have the foundation of how you want to lead your life. Because I can't raise my child effectively if I'm not raising myself effectively. A lot of people understand that. After mommy and daddy, after they're done raising you, 18, 19, and 20, now it's your job to keep on raising yourself effectively. You know what a lot of people do? They take everything that mommy and daddy did and taught them for the last 20 years and say, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. What? Let's say it didn't work for mommy and daddy. You think it's going to work for you? Absolutely not. You have to change and rearrange the whole dynamics of your lineage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some people might feel like, yo, you know what? You have to go to college to become successful. Let's say college is not your thing. Let's say you're good with these and you're a mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Going to college will be a waste of your time.
Exactly.
So if you're only doing it for mommy and daddy, you are conforming to generational ignorance. Okay?
Hey, you totally right. You're totally right. I heard that so many times, man. It's like, oh man, I gotta, or do it. I want to do it differently though. What about the people, who are, what about the parents who encourage their kids to do it exactly how they did it?
Well, that's a funny thing. Parents that do that are parents that probably don't want to ever see their kids grow up. You understand? And I can understand it. I'm a parent, you know what I'm saying? But I want parents that's listening to understand this. We have our children and we raise them so they can be autonomous and independent. All of us don't do that though. And I say that in the book. And when you read the book, some parents actually raise their children so they can be more dependent on them. And you might be saying to yourself, Dre, get out of here. Dre, I know parents that raise their children so the child can be more dependent. Why would they do that, you might ask? Why? So the child can never leave the nest. The child has become the parent's security blanket. You understand? So you might say, no, nobody would do that to the child that loves them. No, it has nothing to do with love. It has to do with the parents' past trauma. You understand? It has to do with the relationship that they had with their father and their mother. Let's say you take a guy such as myself, I have a great relationship with my father, but let's say I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I probably would want my son to stay up under me forever because of my trauma that I had with my own dad. So I want to make sure that I want to be in his life 24/7 because my father was never in my life. That makes sense to you? Mm-hmm. A lot of parents do that because of their past trauma, they bestow it upon their children. In some little ways, I do that with my own children. But as a counselor and a motivational speaker and as a thought-provoking man, I have to sometimes back it up because I was an only child. So, I was actually given all the finer things in life, which I do with my own children. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I have to actually be easy with how much I give my children because I'm used to giving. When sometimes you have to show your kids balance. You can't just give your kids all the time. Mm-hmm. They're gonna used to the world giving that all the time, and that's not reality. Exactly. So sometimes I myself have to back up and say, "All right, Quan, you have to show some balance with your parental skills." So it's not being a bad parent; it's about just understanding where you've come from.
Yeah, man. That is so the truth right there, man.
Yeah.
So the truth, man. My mother raised me to be, independent, man. So, I didn't have my father in my life. So, even, 18 years old, my mother had 4 of us and she was just like,
wow,
get 18, boom.
God bless her, man.
Yeah, I know, right, you're on your own, if you still need us, of course, but it was never that type of, oh yeah, I need you around and nothing like that. She want to live her own life. It's our time, to take care of her if she need, if she needs
that's
that,
right. That's right.
Stuff like that. So, man, I totally, get what you're saying when, things are passed down, from generation to generations or,
yes, they are.
Just certain type of stuff. Back to the book though. Teresa, I want to get the name right. Teresa. Okay, yeah. Teresa. Yes. A single mom, 3 kids. And her parents, her father was an alcoholic.
3 different baby fathers.
3 different baby fathers. Yes. The parents were alcoholic. Her mother was submissive. And she always, needed to feel that guy approval. Because she had low self-esteem, putting the man's needs before anything. What do you say about to the woman out there who may be going through a situation such as that?
Yo. It's crazy, especially in our community, because I can only speak about our communities and our neighborhoods. It's like we got so many women that grow up without their pops, without their father. You understand? And it's crazy because I'm writing a book by the name of The Presence of Patriarchy. That'll be out in a month. But we have so many women that grow up without their father. And it could be a good or bad thing. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. But we already know how not growing up without your father could be a bad thing for a woman. You know what I'm saying? It could make her feel like one, a man isn't needed for anything, and all men aren't no good. Or it can make her do the opposite and make her feel like, you know what? I need a man around because daddy wasn't around. You understand? So, it depends on the situation. But the good thing, there are a lot of dudes out here that are bad fathers, Dre. Okay? And we don't, and it's cool. We don't touch in on that too much, you understand, in the Black community. I understand. You got a lot of dudes out here that are bad fathers for whatever reason. You know what? It's not the child's fault that you're a bad father. Maybe you just are. Bad fathers should not be in the child's life. Yeah, they should pay their child support. I know people in my family specifically that are bad fathers, Dre, and they were absent from their child's life. Their absence actually allowed the child to be successful. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Think about what I just said. Their absence, had that guy been in the household, he would have taught the child all the wrong things. The child would have picked up all the wrong habits. The child would have seen him probably beating mommy up, screaming on mommy, just dealing with other women, in and out of jail. The child don't need to see that. So therefore, his absence actually paved the way for their success. So to answer your question, I think young women need to ask themselves first and foremost, you know what I mean? Why wasn't daddy there? Let's get the answer. You know what I'm saying? It could be a number of reasons why daddy wasn't there. But if daddy wasn't there because he didn't want to take care of you, you didn't need him anyway. I'm going to say that one more time. If daddy was not there for you, young lady, because he did not want to take care of you, you didn't need him anyway. So you didn't lose anything. Okay? And daddy don't only come in, he don't just come in the model of who your father is. Your father figure could be your uncle. Your father figure could be your professor. Your father figure could be your older brother. You understand? Your father figure cannot be your man, though. He can't be your husband. But he can be these other role models in life. He can be the guy that lives down the street from you, that's really cool and close to the family, that you see that is hardworking, that respects his wife, that loves his children. He could be him. That's a role model. That's a father figure role model. So the father per se isn't needed, because you get these father role models in different shape, form, or fashions, i.e. Bill Cosby from the Cosby Show. But that's another issue.
Hey man, I totally agree, man, for real. Because like I said, my father wasn't in my life, so maybe I didn't need him, anyway. Right. I mean, maybe I didn't though. Another thing, as far as in the book goes, how does Quentin handle all of this? He comes into a relationship, take on this woman who has 3 kids. She has an ex-boyfriend, and she has so much trauma in her life. As far as she didn't have parenting, she was neglected by her parents and stuff like that. Right. And she always have this temper. Yeah. How does a guy like Quentin handle that?
You know what? It's a sad situation, man, because I mean, and this is for the fellas I'm talking to right now. A lot of us, we meet these women and they're attractive, totally gorgeous, right? But we're only looking at their shell. And once we get to know who that inner person is, that's a very, very ugly person. And some of us stay with that woman just because she is still attractive, just because she's very sexually promiscuous. But we're not paying attention who that inner person is. That inner person is a very ugly, nasty person. And that's the person that you want to get to know. These things that Judge Judy, she had a book, it's called Beauty Phase, Dumb as Forever. Mm-hmm. And I believe that. Beauty phase. So you're going to have a girl that's 20, she's going to get old one day, okay? So, that's irrelevant. But you want to know what? That beautiful spirit, that stays. So Quentin comes from a different side of the track. Like I said, he was, so to speak, well-to-do, and she came from an impoverished family. So when he met her, he actually was compassionate towards her. You know what I mean? And he loved her for who she was. But you want to know something, Dre? She didn't love her for who she was.
She didn't, no.
So fellas, I want you to understand this. When you come in contact with a young lady that you say that you love, or women, if you come in contact with this man that you say you love, if he is showing you in your face that he doesn't love him, you have to take care of business and leave the situation because it might be the cause of your demise. But the way Quentin handled her, he gave her his blood, sweat, and tears, right? As you were reading. And he had to make a choice, a very fundamental choice in his life. He had to ask himself. Now, he had the baby with her now. He got a 1-year-old child, which he adores. And he like, damn, I had a baby with her. I got married to her. Yeah. But this woman is actually pushing me away with her aggression and her emotions. What do I do? He could have easily said to himself, you know what? I'm just going to stomach it because I love my children. And that's another thing that couples, in my opinion, they make the bad decision of only staying together because of the children. Because when that happens, now the children is going to see all the turmoil. Now the children is going to, basically, it brought into your trauma. You understand? But he makes the fundamental decision in his life real quick. And he says, I have to leave her. Because if I don't leave her, me being away from my child will actually allow me to gain the resources necessary to take care of him. If I stay here, I'm either going to end up dead or in jail. And he chooses to leave.
And you're right about that, because he was like, yo, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. You got your brother and this, all of this stuff going on. What about certain couples who chooses to break up for the best sake of their kids and, you know, don't want to see mommy and daddy fight in the house and stuff like that?
See,
instead
now
of just staying together just for the sake of it.
Well, it's twofold, because you have to think about it like this. I feel that as adults, we have to make important decisions in our life. It's hard being an adult, man. Somebody that's saying that, first and foremost, whoever say that life not hard is not living life. So they're lying. Life is hard. And in life, you have to make some hard decisions in your life. So the hardest decision you probably can make in your life as a parent is to leave your child. That's the hard, you like, damn. But if they do make the decision of leaving each other, I think that they have to have an understanding that they still have to co-parent. Now, Quentin and Teresa never co-parented. People think when they leave each other, okay, that's co-parenting. No. Co-parenting is we leave each other, but now we're still having a conversation, a dialogue pertaining to our child. And we still have the collective interest of our child, even though we're not together. Quentin and Teresa never had that. When Samuel was with Teresa, he was raised as Teresa's child with her habits. When he was with Quentin, he was raised with Quentin as his child with his habits. There was no dialogue. You understand? You know what I mean? So I think that's it's like Samuel, he kind of got it misconstrued. You understand? He had to live like two different lives instead of one integrated life, because the parents still didn't have the meeting of the minds that was necessary. Yeah. So I think if you are going to separate, please still co-parent. And if you feel like you can't, it's a very sad thing, because in my professional opinion, it's not always easy to co-parent with someone. It's not easy to co-parent with somebody that you hate, Dre. You left them because you hate them.
Exactly.
But now for the next 18 years, you still have to speak. You still have to go to teacher conferences. You still have to go to dance recitals. You still have to coexist with this person. That's probably one of the hardest things you can do. Still having to coexist with somebody that you can't stand. It's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to put your pride in your back pocket, man, and propel yourself to progression. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You got to put your pride in your back pocket, man. Neither one of them, Quentin and Teresa, didn't see eye to eye. And you talked about this. They had different ideologies. What about the couple? What type of advice for couples who don't see eye to eye? Or just on a lot of stuff? They didn't see eye to eye on laundry, cooking,
nothing.
Nothing. So it was like,
they were two different people.
He raising it his way, and she doing it her way. So now they just, like you said,
Yo, Dre, what I would say to a couple is, first and foremost, I hope this couple doesn't have children. First and foremost, that's what I say. I hope you guys do not have children. I hope you guys can just be, in a relationship first. Get to know one another first. Me and my wife that I'm with today, we were together 7 whole years before we even thought about conceiving our child. You understand? So we got to know one another. We lived together and all that. You have to ask yourself, because, first and foremost, when we get involved with people, we get involved with them for security reasons. You understand? We don't get, because we don't know this person. You understand? We're going on what we see. After a year or two, we get to know who the hell we dealing with. And 9 times out of 10, there's going to be many things that you can't stand about your mate. However, that's still not a reason to break up, because we are all different people. There's a lot of things I don't like about my wife. There's a lot of things she don't like about me. But we have learned how to sit down and discuss them. And you know what? I don't always agree with her. She don't always agree with me. But that at the end of the day, I think our love supersedes our differences. You know what I'm saying? So a couple, I would say, if you're having these problems with your man or your woman in the first 2 years, don't have children right now, yo. Don't bring the kid into the problems. Don't do it. Don't bring the kid into the problems. Ask yourself, you know what I mean? Well, okay, first, how did I meet this person? You know what I'm saying? Okay, after you give yourself that, okay, what did I like about this person when I met him? You know what I'm saying? And now, who is this person now? Have they did a 360? Or does this person still have those traits? Now, the negativity is just sprinkled on the good traits. If the negativity is just sprinkled on the positivity, that's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because on sprinkles on ice cream, you can always wipe the sprinkles away, right?
Yeah.
But if this person has did the 360 and they are nothing like that person you just met, you got a problem on your hands, and you need to ask yourself, what am I willing to lose? Because when you go into a relationship, you lose a part of yourself. It's real though. However, when you start maturing yourself individually and collectively, you start gaining yourself back. But in the beginning, you lose a part of yourself because you're giving everything to yourself. You're giving your mind, body, and soul. Well, I think that, you know, in a healthy relationship, you're trying to impress this person. You're trying to tell this person, I love you. I'm willing to ride or die with you. And with that being said, you tend to lose some of yourself. You know what I'm saying? But as you mature and you communicate with the person, and I'm an advocate of counseling for couples also, you start regaining yourself, because you start understanding that I am an individual and so is he or she. And that's how we come together as a couple. The couple isn't one. No, we have two pieces that make one. That, you know, Ellen Langer, a PhD that I'm fond of, she asks the question, is 1 and 1 always 2, Dre? Think about, right.
Yeah.
If I got,
I had to learn that. No, it ain't. 1 and 1
it's not
is
always
3.
2. Right. You know what I'm saying? 1 on 1. If I got one snowball and I got another snowball and I put them together, that's 1. You understand? So it's not always 2. We have to understand we are 2 individuals that come into a collection. You understand? We weren't born in this collection. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of couples, they live as though they can't live without their spouse. That's not true. Let's say something happens to your spouse. You're going to kill yourself? No, you're going to have to keep living. So you have to learn to live without them while you're with them.
Speaking nothing but facts, man. Nothing but facts. Hey, everybody who's listening to me on EB Radio and watching on YouTube, man, for real, I know this is a good one, man. This is a really good one. But yo, sit tight. Yeah, sit tight. We're going to pay some bills here on EB Radio, you guys, on YouTube, man. Don't go nowhere. For real, don't go nowhere. You're listening, you're watching to the 1130 podcast, you dig?
Know it. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed.
Welcome to EB Radio.
Making a podcast just got a lot easier. Meet Anchor, the easiest way for anyone to make a high-quality podcast and distribute it everywhere audio is heard. No studio or fancy equipment needed. With Anchor, all you need to do to start podcasting is hold your phone up to your ear to record, either by yourself or with friends. You can also add music, background tracks, and voice messages from your listeners, all right from your phone. Then publish it everywhere, including Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music, with just one tap. That's it. You're all set up. It's really that easy. You can use Anchor on the go or from your desktop, and either way you get unlimited podcast hosting. All this combined means it just got ridiculously easy to make your own podcast, whether you're a beginner or a pro. And the best part is that Anchor's 100% free. Get the app now for iOS or Android, or visit anchor.fm to get started. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
from the bottom, then it feel more awesome. Don't be scared of us, just approach with caution. 1130 podcast, nigga, is you watching? From the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on wheels is the one.
Yo, you guys, welcome back here to the 1130 podcast here on EB Radio and YouTube. Appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout the commercial break. I have my guest, LaQuon Johnson, man, motivational speaker. He's the author, you guys, of a new book called Generational Ignorance here with me on the podcast this week. Man, we're going to get right back into the show, man, for real. But before we get back into the show, because I'm excited. I'm all stubborn. I'm excited, you guys. Program reminder, you guys, for everyone who's listening to me on EB Radio this morning, tune back in tonight. The Notorious Moms Podcast tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it. But yo, LaQuon Johnson, man, we're gonna get back into it. How you feel about this generation?
What, the millennials?
Yes.
As far as relationships, I mean, they different from our generations, right? I mean, I can't say it's good or bad. I think they got They got many more resources out there to help them. You understand? I think there's many more resources out there to help these young cats out here understand what's going on. But on the other side, there's many more distractions.
Mm-hmm.
There's many distractions out here that can interfere with your relationship. When I was young coming up, like I said, we had phones, but not like that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have no social media. We did, but not like that. There wasn't no distractions. You know what I'm saying? You know, I had to pick up the phone and call you, or I had to come to your crib. It wasn't no texting. It wasn't none of that. Now I could go on your Facebook. It wasn't no phone that I can go through to see if you're talking to a dude. It wasn't none of that. So I had to actually trust you. You understand? And I had to actually use my gut instinct and my intuition to see if you were the person for me. So I think, you know, the millennials, they have a lot of resources, but they got a lot of distractions out here too. You know what I mean? And I think, honestly, they need to listen to their predecessors. You know what I mean? Listen to that older sister. And when I say listen, I don't mean do everything they say. You know, when you talk to young people, 20 to 30, they think... Right, they think you're trying to tell them what to do. No, just like my books. My books are all parables. I'm not trying to tell you what to do in my books. I want you to read the stories in my book and place yourself in the character's situation. And ask yourself, what would I do if I was in that situation? How would I handle Teresa? How would I handle Quentin? Would I have left Teresa? What would I have done? That's all I'm asking for. And when older people are speaking to you, some people, because some older people, they do talk to you as if, you know, their word is golden. But me, when I speak to the younger generation, I say, hey, well, when I was in this situation one time, 25 years back, X, Y, and Z happened, and this is what I did. So take that for what it's worth. And maybe you can take a pinch out of what happened to me so it won't happen to you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. I like that. We talked about Teresa. We talked about Quentin. What about Tiffany though? Because Tiffany, you know, gets jealous of Teresa. You know, when she was dating Quentin's cousin. You know, so how do you do that? Because, you know, even though living with your family, yes, it can be a lot at times though. But you know, Tiffany is just all left out, in the bubble now.
Yeah. Well. That's a very good question you have, Jay, because a lot of us, especially Black people, and bring it back to us, we don't know, and this has to do with generational ignorance. We don't know how to separate our family members from our family members, and I'll explain what I mean by that. My family member is a person that's my cousin, right? My father and his mother were sisters and brothers, and this is my cousin. My family member is this person that's there when I need him at 2:00 in the morning to pick up the phone and talk to him because I'm thinking about my man that just passed away. Those are two different family members. You understand? We have this one family member that's just my cousin just because of blood. Then we have this other family member right here that's there no matter, that's my ride or die. Even if they weren't my blood family member, they would be there. That has nothing to do with their bloodline. You know what that has to do with? Their inner spirit, their inner beauty. You understand? This is a beautiful person that would be my ride or die, regardless if they were my blood. And I think with Teresa and Tiffany, Teresa couldn't really, she felt, you know, her generational ignorance. Mm-hmm. Damn, this is my sister. You know what I mean? You know, and Quinn actually kind of, that's where it started. The disconnection started when Tiffany started like interfering in Teresa's and Quentin's business. That's where the disconnection started. And I don't think Teresa was mature enough to tell Tiffany, yo, mind your business. This is my man. I love him, et cetera, et cetera. And in our black communities, we have that problem. We have a lot of people in our families, Dre, that are not good people. And it's like, people don't say that enough. You have people in your family.
I don't even think people say that enough because it's always, man, family is everything. Family is this. Family is supposed to be.
That's crazy. And it's okay that you would feel that way, but it's not the truth. You understand? I have family members that have done the unthinkable. And people in the family still respect them and still talk to them in their face as if they're a loved one. No, I treat you as such. If you don't act like a loved one, Dre, you will not be treated. I don't care if you're my sister, brother. Maybe that's the only child complex I have. You understand? But I'm a firm believer that, you know what I'm saying? Some of my friends are more family members than my own family members. And that's okay. You understand? To walk away from a family member is not like you're walking away from, you know, your whole heritage. No, that single person is despicable. Okay? And they should be treated as such. And if you don't, you are continuing the generational curses and ignorance.
Man, you couldn't say it any better than that, man.
Thank you, brother.
Couldn't say it any better than
Facts.
That, bro. and we on EB Radio, man. Last time I had you was back in I think early in February. It was the week before I came on EB Radio. And you got this phrase that I really love, man, for everybody on EB Radio, just to clear form. Bad things happen for good reasons.
All day. Bad things happen for good reasons, man. I'm a firm believer. Like I said, I'm going, you know, I use it's crazy because usually with my students, because I'm a college counselor, I use the analogy and example of the worst thing happening to you in your own life. And I use someone dear to you dying. I am living that right now. Someone very, very extremely dear to me is no longer here at a very young age. And he has 3 children left here without him. You know what I'm saying? I am still in the grieving and mourning process. You have 2 options when you're in this when you're in this form of mindset that I am right now, you have 2 options, Dre. 2. 1, you can sulk and you can say, damn, my man ain't here. And that can last for 10, 15, 20 years. Or you can say, damn, my man ain't here. But what would he have wanted me to do? What would he have wanted me to instill in his children? What would he have wanted me to embed into my own children to make sure that they don't go down the same road he went down? So I've taken a bad situation and made it a great outcome. You understand? And that's what I'm en route of doing right now with the loss of my man, Billy Ray Fillmore. R.I.P., baby. Word up.
Sorry for your loss, man.
Thank you, my brother. Man. Thank you.
Man, this has been an awesome show. It really has been, you guys. Well, we're going to move on here on the 1130 podcast. And my man, LaQuon John, you've been doing your thing. I seen you with Motivational Motives on the YouTube channel and the podcast. I really be digging it, man. How's the podcast going?
Podcast is going well. I want you guys to search Quan John, QUON JOHN, Motivational Motives. Subscribe, share, like. We have conversations with Black people who've overcome adversity en route to their own prosperity. Check us out. For real.
Hey, you guys, check it out. For real. Everybody is listening right now on EB Radio. Head over to YouTube and check out Motivational Motives, man. I got some great, dope episodes, man. The last episode, you guys were talking about Bill Cosby and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, Bill Cosby thing. Woo!
Yeah, that's a hot topic
Dr.
right
Cosby.
there. Hey, man,
you guys, now.
Yeah, I know, right? You guys go check out Motivational Motives, man, for real, on YouTube. But you guys know, we're going to move on the podcast. It's time, you guys, for the 1130 podcast hot seat. Hey, Quan John, I got some 6 questions for you. I'm going to ask you.
Sure, got you.
We're going to roll it on. All right.
Baby.
If you could write a book about anything, what would it be?
If I could write a book about anything, I would write a book about a person that is an alchemist, a person that has took a very tragic situation and they have overcome this tragic situation and have become so successful that they have been a role model to everyone that comes after them. So these people can actually follow his tutelage. So it'll be about people that have dealt in alchemy, nothing into something.
Okay, man.
Yep.
See this is why LaQuon Johnson is my guy, man. Very motivational, man. You gotta need that in your life, man. For real.
Yeah.
Whole lot of things going on. You need that. What have you learned about life from kids?
From kids?
Yes.
I have learned, this is something fundamental I've learned. I've learned that when we were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's the person that we really, really are. The person that we are as adults, we're totally watered down. You know why? Our self-confidence is shot because we're scared about what people are going to say about us. We listen to the TV, we listen to the radio, we listen to others too much. When you're 4 through 10, you don't give a damn. You're doing you. And I think as an adult, you have to incorporate who you were as that 4 through 10-year-old into your adult life, man. You'll be happier and freer. Yep.
That's good. That's some interesting stuff right there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. What social stigma does society need to get over?
That's a good one right there, Dre. What social stigma? I would say, okay, honestly, I'll be real with you. That bigger is better. You understand? Most of us, we want to get diesel in the gym. Women, they want to get butt injections. We want $15 trillion. Bigger isn't always better. Bigger doesn't always make you happy. Okay? Because if you got bigger, you have to maintain that big status. Okay, and that's where the trouble usually comes, having to maintain what you've created. So bigger isn't always better.
Okay, I like that. What's something people don't worry about but really should?
The legacy that they leave for their children. I think we, as especially as Black people, you know what I'm saying, we aren't privy to the pillars in the Black community. The pillars are home ownership, invested in the stock market, and educating your own children, as per Dr. Boyce Watkins, who I'm a follower of. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand what stock market investment is about. We have to have our own homes, and we have to start educating our own children. I don't think we think about, we think about it, but we really don't. You want to leave your child straight mind, body, and soul when you're not here. So I think, constructing this child, you want them to be economically straight, you want them to be mentally and emotionally straight, and you want them to be physically straight. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think we focus on, their development as adults too much, man. A lot of people, they want their kids to have the latest sneakers or the latest game console, or having the stupid stuff, the material items. We don't concentrate on the inner beauty of our children.
Okay.
For real.
You're right about that. I like that. What movie quotes do you use on a regular basis?
What movie quote do I use? That's a very good. Let me think. Let me just think real quick. You know what I mean? Well, I don't use it, but it was the quote from the movie Do the Right Thing. You know what I mean? When he stopped the mayor, he stopped Mookie, and he said, Mookie, always do the right thing, doctor. And that's something I try to live by. I'm not saying I'm not perfect by no means, but I try to do things that I want to be done to me. I try to treat, and I know it's really cliche, but I try to be as positive as I can be with someone, because when I'm down, I need that. I need that same thing. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in karma. I feel like whatever I throw out there, it comes back to me 100 times, better and greater. Yeah. Always do the right thing, or try to.
You gotta try to, for real. What goal do you think humanity is not focused enough on achieving?
Oh man, that's a deep one, because I'm a firm believer, Dre, that, and this might give people like me scrutinize this, but integration was one of the worst things that happened to the Black community. Integration stripped us of who we are. We didn't have our own baseball teams. We didn't have our own laundromats anymore. We didn't have our own schools, et cetera, et cetera. when, you know, it's like we had to actually bow down to the oppressor when we integrated. So I think on the real, I think one, they just need to give us a little bit of reparations, like many of the cultures have. Many of the cultures have received reparations under the table, which we weren't privy to. Give us some reparations so we can start building some homes on our own land in America. Give us our land. Actually, give us our 40 acres and our mule. So and we'll be cool. We'll be friends with you. It's not like we're gonna be angry with you. When we need something from you, we'll come over there. When you need something from us, you can come over here. But let us be here with our own acres and our own land, and we can live. That's my opinion.
Hey,
my opinion. Yep.
I agree with it, man. I agree with it. Hey, yo, LaQuon John, man, I appreciate you joining me this week here.
Yeah. Thank you,
podcast, man. It was awesome. Chopping it up with you, man. You know you welcome anytime. I appreciate you reaching out to me to come on, man, and talk about your book.
You, my brother.
I'm gonna get back into it. Like I said, man, it's just so funny, you know, when I'm in podcasts and then the connections and, you know, just everything I buy from different people is just so awesome. Like, you know, from you and you know, the motivational quotes and stuff. I dig it. I love it. And then, you know, picking up this, you know, reading the book. So I enjoy it, man. So keep doing your thing. Once again, you guys head over to Amazon, wherever you get your books at, and just go ahead and get it, man. Generational ignorance, man.
That's right.
For real. I dig it. Hey, yo, LaQuon John, before you go, any questions, any shout outs you'd like to say, anything?
I just want to thank you for having me on the show. Like I said, this is a platform that everybody Black should definitely tune into. And, you know, I love what you're doing, Dre. And, you know, like I said, R.I.P. to my guy, Billy Ray Fillmore, man. You know, we miss you. We love you. And I know you're looking down on us, brother. All right.
Hey, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Once again,
thank you.
Appreciate you joining me this week on the podcast, my guy.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Yo, LaQuon John, man, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast, my guy. It was an awesome time chatting with you, man. Awesome time, man. You're doing your thing, man. I tell you, you're doing your thing with the books, man. I'm loving it. Generational ignorance, you guys. Wherever you get your books at, go on Amazon right now, man. For real, get the junk right now, paperback, or get it on Kindle. I got it on Kindle right now, man. For real, so I won't lose the book, because I probably lose the book, so I got it on Kindle so I can read it, man. For real, I'm into it. You guys get it, because, man, my guy, LaQuon Johnson, always coming through here on the podcast. Second time being a guest here as we embark on the 100th episode of the 1130 podcast. So, yo, man, I had to bring him back on. It was an awesome time chatting with him, man, for real. So, yo, what he's saying, man, is just, you know, real life stuff, man. Yo, you ain't got to do what your parents did, or, you know, and a lot of stuff that we may do or did was passed down, you know, generations and stuff like that. So, yo, man, just, you know, create your own path in life. Create your own path and do your thing. For real, just do your thing, man. Man, I can't follow nothing he's saying right there. I can't follow nothing he's saying on that one, though. But you guys, man, before we go, you guys, how did you guys enjoy that fight this past Saturday, man? Conor McGregor, though, man, you're going to lose all 3 fights, my guy. All 3 of them you're going to lose. And the last one, you broke your leg, bro. Like, they were saying something on the prelims, like he's like the highest paid athlete in this past year or whatever like that, bro. Like, it seemed like he's just doing it for the money. Like, I mean, who else wouldn't do it for the money? You know, like, but I mean, and I think it was Jake Paul. Jake Paul had that little chain he got before he get knocked out. Oh, I mean, I said Floyd. He was just fighting Floyd, but McGregor, man, like, it is so crazy, bro. Like, I'm glad I didn't order it, though. I'm glad I did not order it, man, for real. I'm more interested in the Phoenix Suns winning the NBA Finals, you guys. Yes, they won it in Game 6, you guys, for real. By the time next week is going to be wrapped up, I'm already calling you guys predictions, spoilers. The Phoenix Suns are going to win the NBA Finals, man, for real. Chris Paul need that. Devin Booker, they taking that all the way, man. They taking that all the way. All the way. For real, man. What an episode it have been, man. What an episode it have been. You guys, man, before I leave you guys, man, you know what time it is. It's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, man. WTF moment of the week, man. Comes from Syracuse, New York, man. Yes, man. Man, it's always something going down at a Walmart, man. That's like the That's like the famous place for anything, I guess, something black going down or just anything going down, you know, at a Walmart, man. But yo, man, police was called at this Walmart because there was an altercation going on with some ladies, man. And yo, man, they was talking about their sister was getting jumped, XYZ. And like I said, the police was called and the police would use, he used, man, some strong force. He used force. Use force, he punched this lady in the neck.
Right down there in the black, right straight ahead. He's yelling out like rape and shit and everything else. Supposedly there was a mention of me. There's other females there.
Oh, you did! You can't see anything right now! What you gonna fucking do right now? They killed my sister, hurt my sister. You know my sister? Let me grab her. My nephew and my niece.
Back off!
No, get
Back
off
off!
my sister.
No!
Get off my sister.
Back off!
Leave him.
Back off!
Leave him. You're making my...
Crazy situation, man, at the Walmart. Crazy situation. Cop, man, has been paid. Has been put on paid administrative leave, man. He just punched the lady smooth in the neck, though. Like, man, you feel me? And you seen the video? She was trying to bite him. Like, with all the coronavirus going on, man, come on, bro. Like, he did not have to punch. This was like a year ago when I shared the video with a woman who was at an airport, and she was talking trash to the guy, and the guy just went off on her. He went off on her. But this one though, like, bro, like, I understand. Yes, it's, bro, come on. You didn't have to hit her like that. And no, sweetheart, you didn't have to try to bite the dude. I understand there's a lot going on, but WTF, man. We're gonna leave it right there, man. That is crazy, man. Crazy. For real, you guys. And yo, man, it's been an awesome episode. Once again, shout out to my guy, LaQuon Johnson, for joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. You guys, man, head over to YouTube, man, after you finish watching the 1130 podcast and subscribe and all that good stuff. Head over to Motivational Motives, man, and subscribe to their podcast and check out some great conversations and interesting topics that they're talking about, man. Like I was saying, they had a cool episode. They were talking about Bill Cosby, man. Bill Cosby is out. I think I'm 2 weeks late. I ain't say nothing about that, but I'm just like, I'm gonna let that be. He just got out, man, and hey, everybody feel some type of way on it. Everybody. It was just like, man, R. Kelly next, man. Whew. All right. Yo, man, I'm about to head on out of here, you guys, man. Before I go, you guys, you know what time it is. Yo, don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at Dre on Wheels, Instagram at the 1130 podcast, like the 1130 podcast on Facebook. Subscribe, yes. Make sure you subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. You did, yes. And also, man, the 1130 podcast talk pro wrestling. Yo, man, killing it each and every Friday. I thank everybody who tuning in to the 1130 podcast talk pro wrestling. That's joining me to chat some wrestling, man, for real. It was a good episode this past week, man. So, yo, go check it out. You're into wrestling. I interview some of your favorite independent referees, ring announcers. Man, you name it, everything wrestling. So tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, even the 1130 Podcast YouTube channel. Man, if you would like to be a guest here on the podcast, email me. That's the 1130podcast at gmail.com, or just, DM me on social media so we can work, man. You know how we get that, man. It's been an awesome show, man. Really been an awesome show. I'm about to head on out of here, man. Whoa, the weather is looking nice, but man, is it hot. Boy, it is hot out here, man. In DC right about now. But yo, man, everybody out there, man, stay blessed, man. Give all the glory to God, man. Keep being you, unique, man, and just be free, yo, man. For real, be free. Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. No with me, yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got them problems. Speak something